Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Yarn Thing podcast with Marley Bird. I'm your host, Marley Bird. You can catch the Yarn Thing podcast live every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 12 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and 11 o'clock in the Midwest. If you are anywhere else in the world and would like to join us live for the broadcast, please Google what time 10 o'clock Mountain Time is for you. I do live in Denver, Colorado, if that helps you out at all. Or better yet, just hit subscribe right here to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. And when you do that, you'll see there's a little bell that you can select, and that will allow YouTube to notify you whenever I go live or upload a new video or anything like that. So you could be sure to not miss any of your favorite episodes. We are blessed to have wonderful sponsors here of the Yarn Thing podcast. So I want to say thank you to Buffalo Wool Company, Erin Lane Bags, Creative Bug, Craftsy.com, XRX Books and Stitches Expos, and last but not least, Red Heart Yarns, where I'm the proud national spokesperson. You can learn more about our sponsors by visiting marleybird.com, clicking on the podcast menu, and you'll see a selection for all the sponsors right there. And you can go by, say hello, and thank them for sponsoring your favorite podcast. So here I am. I am back at the helm. I have been down and out for a week with the flu. After Creativation, Caitlin and I both came back ill, and it has been a long week to say the least, but we are back, and I'm excited to have brand new guests joining us on the show today to talk about crochet hooks. Now, we've done a crochet hook review in the past. You remember it was with Brittany and Caitlin, and we looked at many different crochet hooks, and many of you would comment that you didn't realize there were so many different crochet hooks out there. You knew that there were Susan Bates and boy hooks. That was it. And when we were able to show you that there's Clover, there's Tulip, there's Lantern Moon, there's Furls, there's Laurel Hill, there's all sorts of different hooks out there. You were just like, wow, this whole world sort of opened up to you. And I felt like that was really important for the crocheters out there who really feel like they kind of get left behind, because the knitters, they typically get a lot of really cool tools, right? There's all sorts of knitting needles out there, fun knitting needles and expensive knitting needles and inexpensive knitting needles, but it just feels like, we just have these two hooks, when it's not the case. There's lots of really great, wonderful hooks out there. And for those of us who really take our craft serious and want to just take it up to the next level and have not only the wonderful yarn, but the tools to work with that yarn, it's exciting to learn about these people who make these hooks for us. So today we have the lovely owner of Laurel Hill joining us today. So I'm going to say hi, Rick and Danny. So hello, guys.
Hi. Hi.
So Rick, are you the owner?
Yes, I am the owner. The business was started in about 2001, and Danny is my son, and he's been helping us grow, reach a larger, younger, hipper market, for lack of a better word.
Bring in the handsome young guy, right?
Yeah. I'm stuck in the old school.
Yeah, I totally hear you. So those of you out there, if this is your first Yarn Thing podcast, I do want to let you know that we have a full list of the show notes already available over at marleybird.com. So as we're talking today, if you just want to grab your work, maybe your knitting needles or your crochet hook, a cup of coffee, and just sit back and relax, I want you to know that all of the information we will be talking about, including links and such like that, will be available in the show notes. So you don't have to sit there and think, oh, where can I have to write this down. It'll all be available for you. And I'll make sure I put that link in the pop-up in the chat room, and it is also in the video description box of this video. So without further ado, let's jump in. So Rick, you already gave us a little tip that you started a little while ago, but let's start back further. Like, tell us about yourself. Where did you get involved with this type of a product or industry?
Well, about 19 years ago, I guess I should back up a little bit. I have a manufacturing background. And about 19 years ago, I had a friend that was in the fiber arts business, excuse me, and he wanted to make knitting needles. So I stepped in. I said, it can't be very hard to make a knitting needle. This should be pretty easy. It was so difficult. It took me 2 years of research. And then I learned so much that these really are tools. You're not just taking two sticks and making something that can create something beautiful. So I went through that process. I learned. The reason I got involved really was in the course of doing that research, I learned at that point in time that there were 31 million women that knit and or crocheted in the United States, which totally blew me away. And once we found out it was a viable project, then we started to go on to the next step.
That makes total sense. Now, Danny, how about you? How did you get involved with all of this?
Yeah, you know, growing up, Dad's been running this business and he created it so long ago. I've seen it kind of all come together, but I've seen it through different frames. You know, I was what, like 5 or 8 years old when you're like starting all this stuff, and it's like, oh, dad's going on a trip to like learn about, you know, wood and like knitting, you know. But then, you know, fast forward to college, and I'm like I'm a student in college, and I'm an economics major, and I go with him to the TNNA show, and we, you know, that was like the first time seeing Dad in business, you know, in operation, and it was awesome. You know, we just walked the floor and told people about Laurel Hill Hooks, and it was just so cool to see him in his element and selling and talking about this product he believed in.
That's
And
so
so
great.
and so now I'm just doing the social media and kind of trying to get the word out there. We say that we're the best kept secret in the crochet hook industry. So want to change that.
That's perfect. I know people in the chat room right now, they're saying that they never heard of the hooks, but they're looking at your website right now. They're just like, they're beautiful, they're stunning. And I would have to agree with that. So Rick, here you are. I will let you know, I've heard once before that there are more knitters and crocheters in America than people who play golf. So that's something I know, right? But
It's absolutely incredible.
yeah, it's just one of those things that I often will hear people say, "Oh, it's a dying art. Nobody does it anymore." It's like, no, they really do. You just might not see it. And it's traditionally just a woman's craft, so it's kind of just done at home and whatnot. But we're breaking the mold with that, with all of these different things that we've created with Vogue Knitting and XRX and their stitches events and just the online community of Ravelry and such. So as you have been in this business for so long, you've also seen it grow over the last couple of years, from the commerce side of online and the ability to reach out online. Obviously, that's why you brought Danny in. What are some of the things that you have experienced on your side of the business over the last several years, as far as how the business has changed and how you reach your customers and all of that good stuff?
Well, I think the epiphany for me was years ago, there was a sock summit in Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
And then I was asked to actually make sock needles.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that that industry existed.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. We actually made sock needles and we showed them. But what was amazing to me and what I got the most out of that conference was that this was a group of people that knew each other in a digital community for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they had never seen each other's faces before. And then they came to this convention in Portland. And for the first time, they actually saw each other, but they already knew their children's names. And I really just realized this is a community and we need to get involved in the community. These people have lives and interests. And it became much more than just selling a product to people.
That's cool. I love your story so far of, you know, you saw that there was a need for these needles and hooks and such, and then you see this community and be involved with the community. How have you decided, or how are you a part of the community? So how has it grown from, okay, we're going to make these, like, just take me along the path of your story.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, when we first started, we made more knitting needles and we private labeled those knitting needles to other companies.
Okay.
For example, yarn companies or other fiber arts distributors. But as we moved along that path, people asked us about crochet hooks. And we were lucky enough to meet the right people early on. And I must give some credit to the Crochet Guild of America, because when we went to shows, the way we would approach it, because we don't knit and or crochet,
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn from everybody else. So we don't come in with a bias. And what we do is we put our tools on a table and then we borrow yarn from everybody at that event. And then we have people knit and crochet, and we watch them and we talk to them. And that's how we do our product development. So we made a pretty basic crochet hook that we were very proud of. But then the Crochet Guild of America took interest in it because they thought there was a need for a different type of hook.
Mm-hmm.
Or we try and be inclusive as possible. We realize that there's a lot of great hooks out there. But they would actually handle our hook, and they would take a Sharpie, and they would try and make it comfortable for the most of their people. And what we developed was a unique thumb rest that made it comfortable for most of the people to crochet. You're never going to get them all. Everybody's different. That's what I've learned for 19 years of doing this. There's not two people that knit and or crochet the same way.
Right.
So you have to work very hard to make those variables the best for the most people.
I get that.
And that's why we're inclusive, and we believe in other manufacturers, because you really should search for what fits you and what works best for you.
Absolutely.
And that's what we try and do and encourage.
Danny, do you find that not being a knitter or crocheter has helped you or hindered you in the development of these hooks?
Oh, for me, it definitely helps me. And I think it's because we kind of stick out as, you know, we're basketball players. We're both really tall. You know, like we go to these events and they go, "What are you doing here?" And you know, we embrace the comedy of that, you know. And so for me, you know, I've tried to find it as a positive.
Very cool.
But like we've been saying, you know, it has to come in tandem with that willingness to communicate and really that like hunger to like, hey, what do you think of these? What do you think of these? So now for me on social media, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just always encouraging people to comment, like, tell us what you think about this. And, you know, and then making sure that we're responsive to those comments and it becomes a community in that way.
That's great. I would assume that because you have no preconceived notions of how something should be, you're able to listen with more open ears.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Like my dad said, like without bias, you know, we're an open book, you know, like we're waiting to learn.
I love it. So these hooks, let's dive into the products that you supply. So tell me about the hooks. Like if I were to say, so what makes your hook so special? What would you say to me?
Well, the unique thumb rest is really a benefit because it helps people with arthritis, or it doesn't eliminate stress, but it helps to make it less repetitive stress syndrome. But also, like when we started, we wanted to find woods that were repurposed, and we're able to take species of woods that normally would be thrown in a wood pile and burned. So we partnered with some of the largest furniture manufacturers in Vietnam and cabinet makers. And we take the little leftover pieces that in their process to make cabinetry would normally just be burned. We buy them at different times of the year. So we're using a recycled material. And then our ebony comes from musical instrument factories, and it's the same type of process. That's wood that would normally be cut off and wasted and not used for anything else.
Very cool.
And the other thing that makes us totally unique is that our hooks are all handmade. So they go through a process sort of like Henry Ford's concept, where it's a line and then it's assembly line. As opposed to a lot of times you'll see people that will take blanks and then they'll calibrate a machine that will digitally just spit them out. And again, we have total respect for that. We see why people do that. But we use a different approach because we were trying to use the resource of people and working. We're trying to employ more people and help this cooperative that we're associated with in Vietnam.
Fantastic. So what are the different types of woods that you offer?
We offer 4 different types of woods. One is called forest palm.
You want to hand me the
Ooh,
varieties?
good show and tell. I love show and tell.
Oh, this is nice.
So this is our variety set. And Dad, as you go through our different,
Sure.
if you just tell them what kinds of hooks we have.
The first wood, excuse me.
Here, I'll hold them up. You tell them what kind of wood we have.
Okay. This is novice. This is a neutral brown color. Can
Okay.
you see that, Marley?
I can't. Also, Danny, hold it up and put your hand like in front of it, like this.
Okay.
Got it.
Namoc, and I want to tell people it's spelled so uniquely, Namoc.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah. So there's lots of lines in the wood, and it clearly is just like a beautiful hand polished piece of wood, you know.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, Namoc. I've never heard of that wood before.
It's indigenous to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And it's a hardwood. And this wood is called tray.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And we wanted to have a light wood because we like the contrast when people are doing projects with darker yarn.
Mm-hmm. And that's spelled Trai, everybody, for those who are trying to look things up.
And our most popular wood is ebony.
Oh, I love ebony hooks.
And I think the reason it's the most popular is people know what it is, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They have a frame of reference. But we get so many people that were in the band in high school,
mm-hmm.
or played the clarinet, or relate to the black keys of a piano.
Yeah.
So it has a built-in it's familiar to people.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you want to talk about like the notches in the hooks and what they were developed after, or anything like that?
From a technical standpoint, again, we've had a lot of help through the Crochet Guild of America, and I understand that there's many different types of ways to design a hook, but ours is similar to a Susan Bates hook.
Okay, with
and
the
also
inline.
There is a tip that is a little bit pointed, so you can get to your stitches.
Yep.
But not sharp enough that it will fray the yarn.
Perfect. I was going to actually point that out because I love a pointier tip than a rounded one. So I like that. The weight of those hooks. So obviously you're showing some of the larger hooks there. Are they heavy? Or would you say like it's just kind of like they feel like just a normal hook? So like for example, the Addie swing hooks, I find those very heavy, very, very hard to handle and heavy hooks. And then I have other wooden hooks that are very, very light, and like it looks like it would be heavy, but it's like super light. How is the weight of those? Do you have something you could compare it to? I'm not sure how.
Well, I can give you a little feedback. Basically, these are hard woods, so they're going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the more you use them, the better they get because the wool actually polishes them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very light. They're extremely light.
Very cool.
And we made them all, even though they're 3 different species of woods, they're all about the same weight.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. Our product is so tactile, and that's the key to our product. If they hang up on a shelf, they might hang there forever. But if you put them on a table and let people touch them, they melt in their hands, and I hate to say it, but they're hooked.
I agree. I agree with you. People are saying that already in the chat room. There's one woman, she says, no more, what does it say? No worries, I'm hooked. Where do I get them? I can't wait to get these. I love the hook style. So people are very excited about these hooks. I think they're fantastic. What's the size range available?
We sell them D through M.
Okay.
And in the very smaller sizes, let's say D and E, there's some people, and as we worked shows and we watched how people crochet, some people will break any wood hook. It's just they have so much tension on their yarn. So we don't go any smaller than D. That's why we don't go smaller.
Perfect. And then when people go to purchase them, are they only available in sets or can they be purchased individually to eventually build up to a set?
Oh no, they're of course available in any size you want, D through M, in all the woods that we talked about. And we don't have any minimums at all. We want people to experience them because we know if we can get them in their hands, they're going to be a solid customer.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot of times when we see people at shows, they'll say, well, I'll try one. I'll take a J. And then they'll call us and they'll get another size. And they'll get another size. And of course, they're like socks. They always get lost. They get broken. The dog eats it.
Yeah.
And then they call and they ask for a set. We said, we told you to get a set in the first place.
You know what? You can only lead a horse to water, right? I mean, that would be me. I'm looking at the ebony set. And I'm like, all right, so that's the one I want. I'm like, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. When people order a set, does it come automatically with the case that I saw you holding up the case earlier?
And that case is organza silk.
Okay.
And if you notice that every panel is a different color.
Perfect.
And the reason for that is we try and repurpose everything. So we buy those bolts of organza silk in big, big rolls. But we buy the end rolls. And then we have to fashion them so they fit into a case.
I love it. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. So people are asking, what about Tunisian hooks? So Tunisian, obviously, it's that sort of middle ground between knitting and crochet, and it seems to get a really big resurgence right now. At least that's what I'm experiencing. Do you have Tunisian hooks as well?
You know, we do. This is in a package. I don't know how well you can see it.
Yeah.
And this is made out of forest palm.
Okay.
And we used to make a lot of these. I remember when my mother and grandmother used to use those. They were called Afghan hooks.
Yes, yes.
So that was my first recollection. And then we made some, and people loved them, but we didn't get enough traction that we continued to make them. So we have some left, and once they're gone, we haven't made a decision whether to continue doing that or not.
Okay. So we have a comment in the chat room, and April Love is asking, are all the woods durable? I know you said they were, but she also is asking, is one more durable than others? Maybe she has a rambunctious child who likes to pretend they're Harry Potter at the house, and she wants to make sure she's getting that hook that is not going to break, because Lord knows that's what's happened at my house before. So
well, thank goodness they break for us.
Yeah.
But we do replace them. The truth of the matter is the ebony is a little bit harder than the namose and the tray, but you would not recognize that.
Okay.
I mean, we can measure it on a gram scale, and we know that's the right answer, but for the user, there would be no difference.
Okay. There's another question from Kathy Jenks. She is asking, do you have double-ended hooks? That is one hook I have never used before, but I know that they're out there, but it's a double-ended crochet hook.
You know, again, we've made those in the past, and our problem is because we don't have a giant marketing department behind us, people ask us, and we love it because we like to make innovative products. We ask people, you know, to comment to us. So we've made those double-ended hooks, but we don't have enough people that want them to actually put a whole line together.
I get you. That makes sense.
You know, if I can just go back a little bit, when we started making knitting needles, we were always interested in innovative input, and we made square needles and we made triangular needles, and we made them for other people. Excuse me. But there again, unless you get like a whole bunch of people, and I mean thousands of people that want them at one time, it's very hard to put these lines together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's another question regarding, since they're wood, do you recommend that you polish them at all?
You know, as I mentioned before, because of the way they're finished, they actually improve over time because the yarn itself polishes it. And we get people sometimes, like you say, they'll, over time, a dog will get it, they'll lose it.
Mhm.
And we send them a new one and they go, wow, it's not worn like my other one. And we go, well, keep working. You'll get there.
That's an
And then
excuse
the
to
other
try.
challenge we have as manufacturers,
Mhm.
excuse me, is this is all pattern driven. So we think we have all the right sizes and the right quantities, and then an innovative designer will come out with something that calls for a K.
Yeah.
And then we get to run on Ks. So that's a tough challenge as well.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
Marley.
What'd you say?
Thanks, Marley.
Yeah, right. I know. Sorry. Us designers just put us, we're always causing trouble. Okay, so people are obviously, so in the chat room, people are just totally disregarding us. They're like, I'm looking at the website. I want to see what's available. I want to get this. So let's tell them where it is available. So a couple things. We know that it's available on the website. Can people purchase it in stores? And if there is a store owner out there that's like, you know what, I'd really like to supply these in my store, do you sell them wholesale?
We do. And what we would say is if you email us at sales@laurelhillonline.com, we'll take that on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
And people can buy our hooks in stores now, but they're made in forest palm wood. And that's a wood that we actually private label to a distributor.
Okay.
And that distributor sells to retail stores. But if they want to get into other woods, or we could, of course, if they email us, we can hook them into our distributor.
Okay. I love this. Like this, it's fascinating to me. The look of the hook itself, because I don't have one in my hand. So like I'm looking at them online, I'm looking at the shape, and they look like they're very inviting. I don't know how else to explain it. Like if I saw them on a table, I would feel the need to pick it up and have to feel it in my hand and crochet with it. And I think that that's important because there are other hooks out there that I have no desire to pick up at all. And so it looks like it's a very, is ergonomic the right word? It looks like it's a very comfortable fitted hook.
Yes.
I love the inline of the hook. I love the tip, how it's pointy. I love everything about it. I actually saw your stuff online and contacted Caitlin and said, I want to know more about these people because I was like, these are beautiful. And at the start, I talked about how so many of us crocheters just feel neglected when it comes to nice things because we just don't know there's other nice hooks out there. And so as we're learning more and more that they are out there, the best kept secret, it's just want to shout it from the rooftops of, hey, try this out. And, for roughly $10 a hook, I mean, that's nothing, guys. I spend that just going through Panera Bread the other day, that's nothing. They're so beautiful. Are you sure you're never just intrigued to pick them up and crochet on your own?
Look at these hands.
I've got big hands too.
They're so beat up.
Me too.
But actually, you know what? If you would teach me, I would learn. How do you like that?
Uh-oh, gauntlet.
Looking for lessons.
I know, right?
But, first of all, thank you for those kind words. And we always perceive it as an affordable luxury because that's what our hooks are.
Yes.
And, if you can buy, as you know, a $2 plastic hook and get the job done, but this is all about feeling good and understanding your creativity and enjoying it.
Yeah.
The language we use, a lot of time is it's a functional piece of art. And it really does, like, even as we have this set in front of us, I'm tempted to like pick it up and just play with it. It really is a really beautiful product.
I often attribute that feeling because my husband, he's always telling me, he goes, if there's a hook around or a needle around, you're always just working with it. And I'm like, well, think about it like Josiah. If there's a ball around, whatever, my Josiah is my youngest. He's either bouncing the basketball, throwing the football, or trying to throw the baseball. Like he's just always doing something with the ball. It's because it's there. And it's just, that's what you do. And I'm like, it's just, there's this calling to it. Something I want to point out is, so today, actually, my friend Tamara from Moogly Blog blog had interviewed me for the Red Heart blog recently, talking about the therapeutic aspects of crafting in general. And one of the things we talked about was your stash and your yarn. And for me, there's something very therapeutic about being able to sit down, not worry about what happened during the day, what I have to do tomorrow, but just letting the yarn work through the stitches and let the hook or the needle work those stitches. But having quality hooks or needles in my hands is a key element to that experience. So being able to just relax and have a soothing experience all the way around when I'm using my own yarn line, a really nice hook or needle in my, and just relax, there's a benefit to that. Does that am I making sense there? I think there's health
Absolutely.
benefits to all of that. And I will often tell my husband, I'm like, a chef doesn't go and buy his knives at Walmart. So I feel like if you're gonna upgrade your skills and your what you're doing all the time, shoot, spend a little extra cash and get yourself something special so that you're enjoying that time that you're spending making these items, because it's important.
Another aspect of that too is when we talk to teachers and instructors, they'll tell us, and they buy our hooks for their classes. They'll say if we start them on good hooks, they stay with the craft longer.
Yes. Yep. Same thing with yarn. If you start them with good yarn, it's because it's a tactile thing. So many of us knitters and crocheters are so tactile. I think that's one of the benefits of your hooks. I mean, just looking at them, you can tell they look so inviting. I don't know what other word to use. They look so inviting. They're really well made.
Yeah,
I love it.
We so greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, specifically the ebony hooks. I mean, these are made to be tactile. They're from the black keys. They're the same woods as the black keys of a piano. So the same way that you sit from a piano and you want to touch the keys, like those are our ebony hooks.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So I know that we're talking about crochet hooks quite often today, and you've alluded to knitting needles. Are you still making knitting needles? Are those still available?
We don't make knitting needles, but we still have some things on our site, like in our closeout sections and things of that nature. I can't even tell you why we don't even make them anymore, but we concentrate so much on the hook because that's something we feel is just so unique, and that's really what we do best. And there's other great manufacturers, and we respect them all.
Yeah.
But we really believe we make a hook that's the best for the most people at a reasonable price, and that's what we concentrate on now.
I would absolutely agree with you. Well, the chat room is like, they're all abuzz. They're just saying that the product is amazing. That wood is really great for extreme temperatures. Aida is saying that having quality tools makes the entire experience better. People are just very excited. Are you going to expand into any other woods? Or are you going to stick with these ones for a while?
I think we'll stick with the core of these woods. But if there was a distributor that, could get it out to the people, we would make a wood that was exclusive just to them.
Okay. Very cool.
But really, our whole philosophy is to be inclusive. And that's what we're trying to do. I know it's changed over the years, and as the internet has come into fruition and things have changed, we love the idea that it's wide open, and as long as people respect suggested price points, there's room for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a question in the chat room about shipping fees. Do you ship from all around the world? Is it free shipping? Like, how does your shipping cost?
We ship all over the world, and we ship United States Postal Service. So there's terms and conditions on our website. And it depends on the dollar amount that you order. There's a shipping charge attached to that. But once you get to $60, there's free shipping for domestic.
Very cool.
For domestic.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
cool.
you, Danny.
So we ship everywhere, and domestic orders over $60 are free shipping. They qualify for free shipping.
Awesome. I want to say thank you to Pam Crown in the chat room. She's helping me out over there.
Yeah.
I guess she works with you.
Pam is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, she's
She
kicking
took me from
butt.
the total dark ages to the computer age, and now we have Danny to take us to the next level.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Pam. We love you.
So, Danny, I'm gonna look at you here for a second. As you look at the future for Laurel Hill and what you kind of have planned social media wise, I mean, social media, it's constantly in flux, constantly shifting and moving. How are you going to keep up and still maintain the quality that your dad has established with the Laurel Hill brand and expand into, just bigger?
Well, first of all, we're going to keep selling Laurel Hill hooks. I mean,
Perfect.
every time we take them anywhere, people love them. And whenever people put their eyes on them, whenever they put their hands on them, they love Laurel Hill hooks. So we're going to keep selling those. We're also building out the website and offering a lot of other products that are not Laurel Hill branded. Those are already on the website, and we'll continue to add new products. And then, I'm interested in finding out what the younger wave of knit and crochet is too. There's a lot of really cool projects I see, and I'm just trying to put my finger on whether this is something that will translate to the younger generation and continue to grow.
Yeah.
So, if you are, excuse me, a pattern maker or like a heavy crocheter, and you're younger and want to like reach out and get involved, we want to keep growing this community. So we'd love to, feature new pattern makers and stuff of that nature.
Perfect. I love that. I love that you're trying to bring in the community even more and reach out to the makers, because I think that's going to be the key for I'm going to call them the younger generation, but it's so many people want to make their own stuff. And I think a big part of that is the knitting and crocheting part that is coming through. And I think that speaks loudly, especially with your hooks, because they're so wonderful. I love it. It's the time in the show that we give away a prize. So I'm going to let you guys kind of chill out for a little bit, and we'll tell the people in the chat room that if you are listening live right now, it is 10:38 a.m. Mountain Time. If you are listening live, I want you to write, what should we have them write? I want a hook. Okay, I want you to write, I want a hook in the chat room. And again, this is if you're watching live, this is your chance to win an ebony hook of your chosen size. So the winner gets to pick the size of the ebony hook they win. We'll randomly select somebody who's saying, I want a hook. So just put it over there in the coats, and now they're going crazy. Those of you who are not watching live, don't worry. There's always a chance for you to win as well. I mentioned earlier in the show that there are show notes. I've put a link in the video description box of this video. I've put it in the chat. It's all over the place. All you need to do is go to those show notes. You'll find a link to all the social media sites that Laurel Hill is a part of, including any special information we might have added in there. At the bottom of that blog post, you'll see where you can leave a comment or leave a reply. And that's literally what you're going to do. Leave a comment or leave a reply with the keyword or key phrase, get hooked, get hooked. And that is sort of like your golden ticket for proof that you watched the show. And we will randomly select a winner from the people who leave a comment on those show notes. And that lucky winner will win a Namaste. Is that how you say it?
That's right.
Namaste. All right. Namaste wood hook of your choice. So there's still a chance for you to win as well. So even if you're listening live, write in the I want a hook, go over to the show notes, leave your comment that says get hooked, and you'll have a chance to win over there as well. Is this open to just the US and Canada, or just US? I'm just curious. I'll make sure that we tell them.
It'd be best it was domestic, but I say, what the heck?
Okay. Hey, what the heck?
Anywhere.
I like it. All right.
Anywhere.
So there you go, guys. You have a chance to get one of these hooks. Excuse me. They are commenting furiously over here that they all want a hook. So I'm going to let them just comment a little bit more as they're putting them all in there. And what I will do is I will scroll up and down, and one of you will tell me when to stop. And wherever my mouse cursor is pointing, that person will be the lucky winner. So you guys, I'm scrolling, so you tell me when.
Stop.
All right, I stopped. Joyce Gravino. Joyce Gravino is the lucky winner, and she wants a hook, is what she writes. So Joyce Gravino is the lucky winner. Joyce, I will have you email me, winner@yarnthingpodcast.com. Do you just need her mailing address and phone number?
Yes, that'd be fine. That'd be great.
Perfect. So we'll get that information from Joyce. So congratulations, Joyce. And you guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. This was seriously a huge treat to have you here. And before I let you go, I want to make sure, Danny, tell them where they can follow you on social media so they can, get all the pretties that you're putting out there and make sure that your dad sees the work that you're doing. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on Instagram at Laurel Hill Knit Crochet.
Okay.
And then, you can just go on our website and we have kind of badges for all the social media. We're on Ravelry, we're everywhere. So the website is www.laurelhillonline.com.
Perfect. Perfect. I love it. I look forward to meeting you guys someday at some event. Hopefully I'll see you at, gosh, I don't know. Do you guys attend any of the other events besides TNNA or just TNNA?
It's usually just TNNA and then some random type of local shows that we go to. Are you going to be in Portland?
I will not be in Portland this year. I with being sick and everything, I was like, I can't justify getting on another plane and then going and letting my immune system get hacked. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. But I will be at Stitches West in Santa Clara, California.
There you go.
So you should come down there and check that out. That would be a really good venue for your hooks for sure.
Yeah, I just want to throw one more thing out there.
Sure.
I'm based in Los Angeles right now. So if there are any crocheters or, shops out there in the Southern California area, want to reach out, just reach out to us at sales@laurelhillonline.com and let's set up a time to meet up.
Perfect. I hope this all works out for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate the exposure and time.
Oh, it's really awesome. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and we will be back next Tuesday with another wonderful guest. In the meantime, don't forget that this Sunday is the Game Day Mystery Make-Along. There are already 1,500 people signed up who are participating. I have the patterns ready to go. I have testers getting ready to get started to make sure everything's good. And it's just a day of fun. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It'll end at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You will get a clue each hour as to what you're making, and just follow along, and you have a chance to win some fun prizes, some good camaraderie, and just, spend the day together. If you watch football, great. If you don't watch football, great. Doesn't matter. Just come and have some fun with us. All right. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.